Right now, your money isn't really yours. Every digital transaction you make is tracked, stored, and controlled by the very banks you trust. For decades, they've built an empire on this control. But a silent revolution is breaking through the cracks, one that could either free you or trap you forever. They want you to think digital money is just convenience, but hidden beneath the surface, it's a weapon that threatens their power and your freedom. Once you see what's coming, you'll never look at your bank the same way again. So what exactly are they hiding from you? February 2022, Ottawa, Canada. The city was frozen, not just by snow, but by fear. Thousands of protesters had gathered to challenge new restrictions. They expected arrests, they expected force, but what came was quieter and far more terrifying. Without a single shot fired, people began losing access to their own money. Bank accounts were locked overnight. Not just the organizers, but ordinary citizens who had donated a few dollars to the cause. No trial, no warning, no escape. It was the first public demonstration of a new kind of power, financial control as a weapon. You don't need to jail someone when you can simply turn off their ability to live. For decades, banks have operated in the shadows of this control. They decide when transactions clear, when payments hold, when accounts need verification. You've seen it, the unexplained delays, the sudden freezes, the random requests for documents. These are the small leaks in the system, hints of who really holds the keys. But what's coming next makes that look like child's play. Right now, across more than 100 countries, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are being quietly developed. The name sounds harmless. The marketing sells it as innovation, faster payments, no fees, convenience. But behind the polished words lies a code with unimaginable implications. Unlike cash, CBDCs are not just numbers, they're programmable. They can be coded to work only in certain stores on certain days for certain items. They can expire. They can carry conditions. They can be tied to your behavior. Picture this. You try to buy a plane ticket, but the system flags it as non-essential and blocks it. You receive money, but it comes with an expiration date. Spend it in 30 days or it vanishes. You post something the government doesn't like, and suddenly your balance is zero. Sounds extreme? It's already being tested. In China, the digital yuan includes features allowing authorities to track every transaction in real time. In Nigeria, the e-naira rollout was pushed despite massive protests, because physical cash was deliberately made scarce. In the EU, pilots for a digital euro are already underway, quietly shaping the rules of the game. And while they tell you this is for your security, ask yourself who benefits from a money system they control completely. They don't have to outlaw cash tomorrow. They'll let it fade away, ATMs disappearing, cash-only options vanishing, merchants pressured to go digital. Slowly, the walls close in until there's no way out. This isn't a conspiracy theory. It's happening in plain sight. But most people are too distracted to see the bars of the cage being built around them. Hit that like button now, not as a favor, but to keep this investigation alive in a system that would rather bury it. Because what comes next will show you exactly how this digital money is being turned into a weapon, and why those who control it are more dangerous than ever. Beijing, 2020. A journalist buys a train ticket to cover a story the government doesn't want exposed. She pays, she waits. She thinks it's just another ride. Minutes later, her phone vibrates. Transaction canceled. Her account is flagged funds restricted. No arrest, no courtroom, just a silent system cutting her off from life itself. This isn't a dystopian movie. It's a preview of what happens when money stops being yours. For centuries, power over money meant power over nations. But back then, control left traces, troops on the streets, new laws in the papers. Today, the battlefield is invisible. Algorithms, not armies, enforce compliance. The keystroke has replaced the handcuff. In 2016, classified papers from the Bank for International Settlements surfaced, hinting at something chilling. Hidden among dry terms like conditional liquidity and behavioral nudges was the blueprint for a new kind of currency, one that doesn't just move, it obeys. Cash? It dies the moment it leaves your hand. No trace, no chain. But digital currency lives inside their servers. It remembers everything. It records every one. Every purchase becomes a breadcrumb feeding a system that knows where you've been, what you've done, and even what you're likely to do next. Imagine this. You buy a book critical of government policy. The algorithm flags you. A week later, your bank transfer is pending for days. You donate to a cause, your spending limit quietly shrinks. You post something online that someone in power doesn't like, and one morning, your card declines. Not because you're broke, but because someone flipped a switch. This isn't speculation, it's happening. In China, the digital yuan is fused with the social credit system, where bad behavior means financial lockouts. In Nigeria, when citizens rejected the e-naira, cash mysteriously became scarce, forcing adoption. In Europe, a digital euro is being tested under the promise of convenience, while programmable restrictions are being built in the shadows. And it's not just governments. Big tech has entered the game. Apple, Google, and payment apps are embedding systems directly into devices, creating an ecosystem where the same companies deciding what you can post online could decide what you can buy offline. The line between finance and surveillance is disappearing. They call it progress. They call it innovation. But progress for whom? Innovation for whose benefit? When money is programmable, so is your life. Your access to basic needs becomes conditional, not on law, but on code, and you'll never see the rules. Most people will never question this. They'll accept it because it's easy, because it's fast, because it feels modern. That's the trap. Convenience is the bait. Total compliance is the hook. Ask yourself, if they can control how you spend, what stops them from controlling how you live? Subscribe now to keep uncovering the secrets they're desperate to keep hidden. This channel is one of the few windows left into what's coming. The deeper we dig, the harder it becomes for them to cover their tracks. And what's next will reveal the true end game. A design so bold, it doesn't just control money, it rewrites the meaning of freedom. London, 2023. A man walks through the drizzle, a 10-pound note folded tightly in his palm. He steps into his favorite cafe, ready for the warmth of routine. The barista doesn't even touch the bill. Sorry, we don't take cash anymore. He frowns, laughs awkwardly, and leaves. At the next store, the same rejection. By the third attempt, the laughter is gone. By nightfall, he isn't thinking about coffee anymore. He's thinking about control. This is how freedom ends, not with a loud decree, but with a quiet erasure. No headlines, no riots, just silence as one by one the doors close on cash. The disappearance of cash isn't chaos, it's choreography. Across Europe, ATMs vanish by the thousands. In rural towns, residents travel miles just to find a working machine. In the United States, some chains no longer accept bills. Customers shrug until they realized the change wasn't theirs to decide. Sweden, cash is already a relic. Those who cling to it are looked at with suspicion, as if hiding something. Why such a coordinated push? Because cash is the last line of defense. It is anonymous, untraceable, untouchable by code. It doesn't need approval to exist. It can't be frozen or rewritten. That's precisely why those designing the next monetary order see it as a threat. So they rewrite the story. Cash is dirty. Cash spreads disease. Cash funds crime. Cash is old-fashioned. The message is everywhere, from banks to media. At the same time, they flood the market with alternatives: contactless cards, digital wallets, biometric payments. Every tap feels like progress, but with each tap you step deeper into a world where privacy dies unnoticed. Convenience is the bait, the hook is invisible. We've seen this playbook before. India, 2016. With one announcement, 86% of banknotes became worthless overnight. The official reason? Fighting corruption. The real effect? Millions forced into digital banking under rules they didn't choose. Spain. Cash payments over a certain limit are now illegal. Australia. Withdrawal caps quietly tighten, restricting access to your own funds. Italy. Use too much paper money and you face fines. The strategy is always the same. Make cash inconvenient, stigmatize it, and let it wither without protest. No need for a ban, just a slow suffocation. And while the public sleeps, the grip tightens. Merchants stop accepting it. Banks reduce access. Younger generations grow up never touching a coin, never feeling the weight of a bill, never questioning the absence of something they never knew. The last traces of financial freedom fade like an old photograph left in the sun. Here's what almost nobody understands. When cash is gone, there is no exit. Every purchase becomes a data point. Every cent feeds an algorithm. The system doesn't just watch, it profiles, predicts, and decides. At any moment, the same network that approves your payments can deny them, without explanation, without appeal. You won't see soldiers or hear sirens. You'll just wake up one morning and find the system no longer trusts you. Trust won't be a choice, it will be demanded. Compliance won't be voluntary, it will be the cost of survival. The architects of this system know exactly what they're building. They call it modernization, they call it progress, but behind the polished slogans lies something far colder, a future where the loss of cash means the loss of autonomy itself. And this, as terrifying as it is only the opening move. The disappearance of cash clears the way for something even more engineered, a new architecture where money doesn't just track what you do, it decides who you're allowed to be. Imagine this. You wake up in the middle of the night, your phone glowing with notifications. At first, you think it's a system glitch. Your bank app opens. The numbers are there, every cent accounted for. But when you try to make a payment, it fails. You call support. The voice on the other end gives you a vague explanation. Temporary restriction, security protocol. Hours turn to days, bills pile up. Your savings sit frozen behind an invisible wall. And then it hits you. This isn't an error, it's a decision. This is not a dystopian fantasy. It's the logical endpoint of the system being quietly assembled around you. When money becomes entirely digital, control is no longer shared, it's centralized. Those who hold the keys to the network decide when, where, and whether you can access what's yours. Ownership itself becomes conditional, granted only to those who follow the rules. The mechanisms are already here, hidden in plain sight. Withdrawal limits in collapsing economies like Lebanon, emergency controls in Argentina, where citizens were suddenly restricted from accessing their own dollars, bank holidays in Greece that left millions standing in lines, unable to withdraw more than a few euros. These weren't isolated crises, they were dress rehearsals for a world where restrictions can be applied anywhere, anytime, without warning. Now, with the disappearance of cash, there's no fallback, no stash under the mattress, no safe in the wall. Once everything exists as code, control becomes absolute. A programmable economy emerges, one where every digital coin can carry rules. Rules you'll never read, but will obey. Break a rule, your funds are delayed. Support a cause they dislike, your balance shrinks overnight. Attempt to purchase outside guidelines, declined. No police, no trial, no headlines, just a silent system enforcing compliance at the level of survival. The most chilling twist is that this control won't feel like punishment. It will be dressed up as reward. Points, discounts, special access, all for responsible spending. The bars of the cage will be wrapped in velvet. People will not resist. They'll thank the system for guiding them. The engineers of this future call it financial inclusion. They promise it will protect you from fraud, crime, even poverty. But inclusion is just another word for containment. Safety is just another word for obedience. Because once money itself becomes a lever of power, those who control the code no longer just enforce laws, they write reality. They won't need to send soldiers to silence dissent. They won't need elections to change the rules. With a single update, they can reshape what's allowed, what's forbidden, and what's possible. Every revolution in history has fought to control money, but this time, money itself is becoming the revolution, one coded line at a time. This is the final stage they've been moving toward, slowly and deliberately. The last piece of the puzzle is falling into place, and when the system is fully online, there will be no switch to flip back. Because when this lockdown is complete, the world won't simply change, it will be rewritten in a way that leaves no room for escape. You've seen the pieces, the quiet death of cash, the hidden code that controls digital money, the invisible cage tightening around society. These are not random events. They are steps in a design so calculated that by the time most people notice, it will already be too late. For decades, power was enforced through armies, laws, and propaganda. Now power flows through something far more subtle, the very money in your pocket, or rather, the money that used to be yours. When every cent is tracked, scored, and programmable, freedom is no longer stolen with force, it's traded away, one tap at a time. Most will never question it, they'll embrace it, because the bars of the cage will shine like convenience. They'll say, this is progress. They'll call it safety. But you now know what lies beneath. The elites are betting on one thing, that you won't notice, that you won't care, that you'll stay quiet. But the fact that you made it this far means you see the pattern. You've connected the dots, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is not the end of the story. It's just the first layer. There are more secrets buried under this system, secrets they will do anything to keep hidden. Hit that like button so this investigation cuts through the noise. Subscribe to Bull Secrets because the next revelations will take you even deeper into the world they never wanted you to enter. The truth is out there, locked behind closed doors, but with every video, we're prying those doors open, one secret at a time.